Hello and welcome to the WrestleDream review. We are the Dudley Boys of WhatCulture. I'm Adam Wilbourn, joined by Michael Hamflett and Michael Sidgwick, here to review everything that happened at WrestleDream over the weekend. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. We do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review AEW Dynamite, but also AEW Collision, Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. Pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week complete with a very good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Hamflett and Sidgwick to review AEW WrestleDream live on YouTube. And before we dive into it, I want to give a shout out to Totally Not Troy in the chat, who said, the stream can't start soon enough. I'm currently waiting in minor injuries, 3 more hours to wait. Hopefully everything's all right for you.
Yeah, get well soon.
Yeah. But yes, thank you to everyone for joining us. Sidge, was this a wrestle dream or a wrestle bad dream for you?
I had a wrestle dream. This is one of my favorite AEW shows of the year. Granted, I need to say this. It's like a compulsion. I watched it in installments after the fact, like the old man I am after my customary early start. I would have preferred it if it was an hour shorter, if there were 1 or 2 fewer matches, and I know the matches I have in mind. And I still think that if you did a 7-match, 3 to 3.5 hour show, it would be better. You wouldn't miss what you're getting, and there would be no lull. And yet again, with an AEW pay-per-view, I can identify, nay, anticipate the lull as and when it happens. However, there was way more killer than filler. I managed my time accordingly. Shouldn't have to do that. I would really quite like to just put my feet on the couch with some snacks, bang, press play, and I'd just enjoy more or less the whole thing. But regardless, I was in a very good mood, which helped because they set the goddamn tone to 7-star level perfection with the beginning of this show. Long-time listeners, come viewers, will know that I have one of my favorite things in wrestling and one of my biggest requests. They were both put together in one, glorious package. I was in professional wrestling nirvana watching the start of the show. It was perfect.
Yes, Isaac in the chat. I did just read your comment and smile as Sidge was doing his brilliant preview of our review. Isaac writes, wrestle cream more like. I loved it.
Beautiful. Wouldn't go that far.
Wettle dream.
Yeah, or just wet dream.
Oh, Wrestle Nightmare. I could have said Wrestle Nightmare.
Let's get on with the review.
I didn't think this was too long, genuinely.
Did you not?
No. I didn't think it was very good, but I didn't think it was too long.
With one hand he giveth, and with the other hand.
That was a bad pay-per-view. But,
it wasn't bad.
But
You're an idiot.
I didn't think it was long. I didn't feel...
There was lulls.
Yeah, but...
Which means definitionally too long. Because if they didn't have the lulls, it'd be better.
No lulls, all lulls.
Maybe I thought the lulls were because of... Maybe I was sat there thinking this is... Because I watched it in one go.
Yeah, but you're an animal.
I was just thinking, this is where the booking gets what it deserves. When the matches went a bit quiet and stale, I was thinking, well, yeah, because the TV product's not been very good. I didn't...
Okay,
do you know what I mean? I didn't like... This was one-on-ones where I just... There was one match where it was obvious where the crowd were like, you're joking? And, we'll get to it, but it was kind of criminal what they did out and served, wasn't it? I think we were all thinking the same one.
There was a reason. I don't think they needed necessarily to do it, but it'll lead to something at least. And you love your directions, so you can't in good faith complain.
Correct.
Hi to Steve Nikolakopoulos in the chat. I will get to all of your questions a little bit later on. I'll try and remember them as we're going through if they relate to certain matches. Steve also, earlier on, donated and wrote, WrestleDream, more like Wrestle creamed my pants. Is this a thing?
A lot of jizzing for this one. Fair play.
Anyway, let's get to the start of this show. All the pyro goes off. The set looks awesome. We've already talked about how much we loved it. Well, what the hell's that? There's a match already in the ring. What's going on, Sidge?
Yeah! Amazing.
This was absolutely amazing. If you've missed the show or just catching up with it through this podcast. So I'll do your job and tell the viewers, listeners, what happened.
I've got a few notes, actually.
Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah,
Sidge this match. What else is that to say?
It just worked, didn't it, FTR and Jet Speed? Yeah. So this is spilled over from, what was it called? The
Tailgate.
Yeah. Thank you. I feel like Eddie Kingston over it. What's it called? They're going at it.
You are equally enthused about AEW as the Mad King.
Yeah, they're going at it, these two teams.
Oh, Eddie Kingston and Wilbourn. Just in the DMs with each other and blood rubbish, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, obviously Jet Speed flying all over the place, looking awesome. FTR, hard-hitting, cheating a little bit. There was an amazing spot where Wheeler backflipped out of a back suplex, right in position to hit Knight with a shatter machine, and then Mike Bailey flies in with a shooting star double knees to break the count, which was awesome. Yeah. The finish was, as Bailey goes to suplex Harwood from the outside in, Stokely grabs his legs, holds him down, and FTR cheat to win, basically.
They've done that one before, but I was so giddy at this love letter to me, an apology to me. I felt very self-centered, like the main character. Like, oh, thank you very much for this AEW. I have been begging for one thing out of about 100 things, but one specific thing as it pertains to pay-per-view from AEW for as long as I can remember. And I also love the idea of like a standby match, of the invisible wall getting broken, no music pops for the entrances and the run-ins. I love and I expect so much more of this from AEW, considering it's meant to be the sports show that happens to be broadcast as opposed to and competing with WWE. We are outwardly a show, and that's what people like about it. The idea of a standby match or of a match ending in commercial, it actually has happened once, Orange Cassidy versus Jack Evans. Just this thrilling, immersive disruption to the format, conveying the idea, which really draws me into the world, that, it's not this polished, patterned, set out, written, produced show. It's an event that we're just capturing here, broadcasting, and things don't necessarily go the way they should, because if they all go too well and everything ends on time and the matches are conveniently as long as they are, you do too much of that and you package it in too polished a way, it just A, becomes boring, B, it just gets convenient and, dare I say, fake. The idea, and it should happen way more often, let's not overdo this though. Let's not overdo this one. But the idea should be, the match hasn't ended in time. Like the pre-show and the tailgate brings my bugbears with pro wrestling into focus, because they all have to sort of end at the exact time or with a few minutes to spare every single time. Otherwise, the pay-per-view can't start. That's not how things should go. It's been a while since I watched UFC, but I've watched fights end, several of them way quicker. Am I right in thinking they just play some of the prelim fights at the end of the broadcast?
Yeah, if there was one with all like first round knockouts, they'd be like, here's some action from earlier on, or they certainly used to.
When I watched it very, very casually, like that, I'm not suggesting we go that far, but play with the idea that it's real. Play with the idea that things might go awry. So I didn't watch the tailgate, and I'm so glad I didn't, because my first experience of watching WrestleDream was, oh my God, there's haymakers getting thrown, pyro going off, and then you are into this finishing stretch pretty much, or the final third of this absolutely incredible back and forth match. So I loved the idea of an immersive broadcast. Combine that with something, this is the thing I've been begging for years, maybe from day friggin' one of AEW, right? The platonic ideal of a pay-per-view professional wrestling opener is Kurt Angle versus Rey Mysterio. I cite this example constantly. Maybe you're bored of it. I don't blame you, but it's true. SummerSlam 2002, in part, is fondly remembered as an all-timer of a show. It was sequenced to perfection. It had these great moments like the Shawn Michaels return and oh Christ, we've actually got a star in our hands. It was looking dicey for about a year after the invasion. But the tone was set so perfectly with one of the best matches for where it was on the card, and these things matter. ever. I adore that match. It's one of my all-time favorites. Like context, time, and all the rest of it. This is the closest AEW has come. And I was thrilled. I was in such a great mood because they set a great, fantastic tone of like, you have got my attention. So often now, these really, really long AEW... The action, by the way, it's not just the idea of doing it. Like, they were going mad in their jet speed and FTR. Like, it was incredibly well worked, which helped as well, obviously. But even the best AEW pay-per-view openers ever... Maybe, I don't know, I'm not even that old school, I'm only 40. But like even the best AEW pay-per-views openers ever feel like they could be the semi-main in terms of the pacing, the length. Like think of MJF versus Darby Allin. An incredible match, and by definition, it's a great pay-per-view opener, but you could put that in terms of how long it went and how it was, I mean, they did go to blistering pace, which helped, but it was a pay-per-view semi-main masquerading as an opener. You know what I mean? It doesn't like after I watched MJF versus Darby Allin, you're not like, all right, the rest of the show will be great, but Christ almighty, who's going to top that? And then the more that happens, you're like, oh, main event a little bit. Like this brisk, cold water to the face. When it's done, right, more wrestling, more wrestling, more wrestling. I can't remember the last time I asked for more wrestling, and I did after this ultra-inspired combination of two of my favorite things. And I cannot believe this got discourse, by the way. I half get it. But if you are saying, God, another match, maybe you're not really operating in the best of faith. But like, this was perfect. I adored it. If you don't do it all the time, it'll become a thing. You'll conglomerate it, basically, if you do this at the start of every pay-per-view. But once a year, this should happen, if it's real, air quotes. And if you don't do it every time, learn the lesson. This was in stark contrast to... I'll let Hamflett talk at some point. I'm sorry. He doesn't care.
I did love this, though.
In stark contrast to how the TV has been received of late, this was... I just felt this was so vital in terms of getting people on board, hyped up, setting the tone. And I don't think it's remotely a coincidence that, again, compared to the feedback to the TVs of late, that this put people in such a good, energetic, enthusiastic mood that it had that domino effect on the rest of the pay-per-view. I know Hamflett didn't like it that much, but a lot of people really, really liked WrestleDream. And I'm not saying it was all down to this opening, but I mean, what a scene as well in terms of pure spectacle. As you say, the set looked great. Like, the action was incredible. It was blink and you miss it. Like, the pyro going, perfect. Hamflett, talk or else I'll keep talking.
Like, I didn't like the show, but I
forgot what I was going to say. If you cannot do the bleed into the pay-per-view, at least do an 8-minute match.
Yeah.
At least like an 8-minute opener every single time would be glorious. Thank you.
That's the point I was going to make. The first 3 matches, in part set by this, had me in a great mood. Like, I really did think, oh, we're onto one here, and then we'll get into it later. I suppose the show kind of fell away from me. But the first 2 matches proper were greatly enhanced by this.
Greatly.
Do you remember that? Like, this was the good kind of sensory overload from AEW. They are guilty of sensory overloads on occasions because it feels so much like Tony Khan's.
Not guilty enough recently.
Well, yeah. But like, it's been Tony Khan's product and he's a sensory overload guy, although to him it's just senses. He doesn't notice there's an overload happening because that's just how he operates. But then sometimes the product would be his senses manifest, and to us it's like, he's up. This was like a very, very welcome sensory overload. Sidge made the point about how good the action was, and I think that was critical to this because it started like, yes, you can start a show hot with like a brawl in the ring, but quickly that can dissipate, and quickly that, like, all that heat can just, like, kind of the air can be let out of the balloon if you go to the finish too quick or something like that. And you didn't. They were racing to a finish, but it took them ages to get there. So it wasn't just like you got like 10 seconds of this match. Yeah. Oh, I can't believe we've overlapped, because that would have been unique, but not as special as this was.
No.
Similarly, they could have ran the finish because you were midway through a pinfall attempt. The pin happens, the match ends, and then you get the pyro. But no, it was like the pyro's happening
best of
right
both
now.
worlds.
Yeah, the set, and God, I've missed these. The set was fantastic with the St. Louis Arch, and the pyro draws attention to that. The building looked full, and that doesn't happen as much in AEW, so you're drawing attention to that.
It's my favourite start to a pay-per-view ever, this.
The building was hot. people were trying. This was like an ECW thing. They would try and have that Joey Styles in the ring with everybody going ECW, EC. Like the people going nuts for the dual like fist fight. So I can't remember if in my head they're chanting AEW. I don't know that they were.
I think they are.
In my mind, when I think about this, I'll remember everybody going AEW like that as 4 wrestlers are swinging, pyro's going off, and there's a big arch on the stage, and you're like, well, this is brilliant. This is pro wrestling. This is magic. This is all of the things I like. And on rare occasions,
fireworks, sets, a bit further down wrestling.
business, like the business, the wrestling business, like all of it. Once in a while, and it's so key, this once in a while thing, you can do it. And it's like, is that better than the way it's supposed to be done?
Yes.
Do you remember that video that did the round years ago when there was like a fireworks display and somebody pressed the activate all at once button by accident?
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't do that fireworks display every time because people want like an hour's show. But one time, this like 6-second blast of 100 fireworks. Like, oh my God, that's absolutely, that's the new way I want fireworks delivered, please.
Yes.
Like, but if that was every fireworks display, like, you know what, this 6 seconds, I think I don't want to go back to the days of an hour. I think I prefer the show. So, like, just impeccably delivered and performed through to the wrestlers who had here, like, not an insignificant amount of pressure to maintain the atmosphere for like, what, 6-7 minutes? No mean feat. Like,
Yes,
fair
that's a
play to the
good
four
point
of them
there.
because they weren't given it. They had to help like curate it, but they were working with like a really incredible and unique atmosphere. And if that falls off even by half, you kind of notice it. And if anything, it has the opposite effect because you're going into that proper opener of the women's match and you're like, it was good a minute ago, wasn't it? But instead, you're just like, oh, I'll keep this going.
Yeah.
Like,
You're like walking into your mate's birthday party an hour later than you'd intended to arrive, but the party's already started, and you're like, oh, great, have a drink. Yeah, sweet. Like, you just walked in, pyro going off, people fighting. It was like, let's go.
It's just drinking to catch up the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we follow that up with the match that was supposed to open. It was a women's match, funny.
But you know what? No.
He's never beaten the accusation.
No, he isn't,
he's
is
not.
he?
But I am
What
one-
are the chances?
Maybe this is too generous, right? I think you can apply context, and I can basically tell myself to believe that this was the opener, and so it should have been because technically it had the least stakes, and he does have that little bit of a New Japan thing in him where he's like,
No, he doesn't.
Is he ever opened with a world title on a pay-per-view?
Not a world title, but like he doesn't have he should do the New Japan thing of the incrementally longer
I
matches.
feel like they're more incremental more often than not, aren't they not?
There's sometimes he'll whack a 20-minute one on third.
Aye, maybe he's actually, yeah.
And then he'll
This one felt...
blow his load
It was
on this Jism-themed review. It says it's
a
the
lot of
best
spunk
now.
on this one.
There's loads of spunk and Tony Khan, man, loads. I'll go again.
So it was Jamie Hayter versus Tekla with everyone banned from ringside. Really hit each other hard early on in this match. At one point, I should have mentioned before this, by the way, Tony Schiavone's there at ringside with Charlie Thez, the wife of Luther Thez, of course. And at one point, Hayter takes Tekla out there and chops Tekla, shakes Charlie Thez's hand. Tekla comes back, hits a big top rope crossbody, sends Jamie Hayter into the barricade, and
That was good stuff there.
or Charlie. Again, they are back in the ring at one point, just twatting each other as hard as they can. Hayter wanted a Haterade. Tekla counted into a Black Widow. Hayter escaped that, but got locked in the Death Trap. Hayter just manages a rope break. Hayter hit a hate breaker for 2. Tekla floated out of a back
Nasty
suplex.
that as well.
Yeah.
By which I mean awesome.
Just seen Mr. Jeans is written more like Wrestle Seam. And
Excellent. That is excellent.
Tekla, gets out of a back suplex.
Messel Dream.
Yeah.
You've made a mess.
Hits Jamie Hayter with a spear, but Hayter's foot is just breaking the plane under the bottom rope. Another spider
Good.
pose.
Well timed that.
Another spear attempt, but this time Hayter just takes her head off with a lariat and hits the Haterade proper for the 1, 2, 3.
Could have done with 3 minutes shaved off. Could have done with 3 minutes shaved off, but I could say that about virtually any pro wrestling match. I tell you what I love, right? Though Tekla's character work was good here. She has that sort of, a bit supernatural and chaotic and spooky, which is a bit of a turn off for my personal sensibilities, but a bit of good old fashioned, hello, grieving widow of legendary pro wrestling royalty. Oh, suck on that. So that was nice. I tell you what I love, right? because you see every move almost in every match. And I don't mean to sound like Rip Rogers, but at the same time, don't make him have a point. I love it when you see a move that you ain't seen done in a while, done brilliantly. That Tekla flying crossbody was absolutely incredible. Like the arc, it was magnificent. Just like legitimately took my breath away. Action was stiff, hard hitting, some good moments. Like the headbutt was really, really good. Like nothing groundbreaking, nothing even blow away great. But as Hamflett will probably say, it kept things ticking along nicely. I enjoy the fact that it happened almost as much as the sort of content of the match itself. There was that 2 minute just before the final third of I was ready to sort of peak here, taking a little while to get to the peak, but in terms of how hard they worked, how committed they were to beating each other up, how much I liked the idea of this happening, I'll walk away with a happy memory of this. Not like amazing, but real good.
I thought this was so refreshing. Tekla shouldn't need to like beat any allegations, but there would have quickly been a movement that would have suggested that Tekla really kind of inadvertently stumbled into a soulmate in Queen Aminata, and it wasn't going to happen with anybody else. You know, nothing about the brawls or the blood and guts build or toxic to the core.
To the core!
Giving the impression that the rest of the run was going to be as cool as the start. And straight away she has a match that disproves that. Like this was the sort of, either somebody just happens to have chemistry with the second person she's interfered with, or she's a good wrestler and she's a welcome addition to the roster. And I'm going to choose the latter with Tekla. Arguably, that same point could be applied to Jamie Hayter, because have we had much to remember fondly from this comeback?
Hot and cold.
Like, nothing from this run compares to how we felt about her before she went out. And look, injuries are awful and can do a lot to a wrestler's confidence. And Jamie Hayter spoke about a number of different ones. The time off, she's kind of suffered the reverse of most wrestlers, where time off is a good thing. It's really knocked her, and she said as much, hasn't she? Like, it's been bad for her confidence. Like, I wish wrestlers knew sometimes how much we value their comeback, because then they'd be less nervous and stressed in the time away. I get why they are. Promoters have them on strings. But she should know that like people couldn't wait for her to return. And then when she goes down again, the same applies. And it's for performances like this. Like, I just thought she was so... like, she was in herself again.
She looked more like Jamie Hayter.
Yeah, like the way she was like physically like approaching like from spot to spot to spot. She was doing that thing where she just like stomps defiantly into it, and there's like real swing to her stuff. And like and that comes with like a bit of like swagger when you can see the confidence across somebody's face as well. And I'd be tempted to tweak the look again, because I still think there's an attachment to a Jamie Hayter period that's not particularly worked that's attached to this.
That I would dye her hair again.
Aesthetic that she's got, because it feels like in every other respect the Jamie Hayter that made it all the way to the top is kind of on her way back.
Yeah, the Jamie Do stuff needs to go.
Yeah.
What followed was a match for $500,000 between the Young Bucks and Jurassic Express. Funny entrance for the Young Bucks. Insufficient funds. Transaction denied. With all the... I paused it to have a look at all the little things that they've been charged for and the amount of money they lost to the casino as well. They come out to... annoying insufficient funds transaction denied thing, trying to take money from the fans and looking longingly at a bag of money.
That sign where it was like $20 for a selfie.
And then Nick was like, Nick was like,
go get it.
Yeah, come on. Good stuff. That bit was caught on,
yeah.
Nice to see Jurassic Express working
nice
back together.
To see them nice.
Indeed. They do well early on. The Bucks at one point tried running away. Luchasaurus was just a monster in there. He hit a moonsault off the apron, and Perry just like happy. Not like it sounds, but like they both looked really happy to be there. Luchasaurus was a bit where he celebrated. And I genuinely thought for a split second.
You know, that guy almost died.
Yeah. Oh, a lovely moment just to be like, back. And Jack Perry getting cheered and what have you after taking out Matt and Nick with a dive. At one point he tried to move the tag rope, didn't he?
Yeah. I don't mind it. Like, I genuinely don't mind it.
Loosen the thing. There's something going on there.
Colour outside the lines once in a while. They know it's like, it's okay.
Is he just doing that thing that all wrestlers do now, where it takes them an age to turn face or heel properly?
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh,
Some ways I like it. The idea of I'm just bad now. It's really wrestling, isn't it? Really stupid.
Sorry to go off on a quick tangent here. I want to shout out John Oldfield in the chat who says, watching your review while my wife gets to finish her chemo and ring the bell today. Today's a good day.
Amazing.
Fantastic. Congratulations to Mr.
fantastic news,
Oldfield.
John.
That's awesome news.
Right, back in the match. Hurricane Rana.
Switching gears.
Yes. Hurricane Rana by Jack Perry, who springs back inside assisted tombstone cutter for a near fall. They get into a chicken fight on the floor. The Bucks want a BTE trigger following that. Perry rolls through, tries for a double DDT, but the Bucks countered, hits the BTE trigger, but Luchasaurus breaks that up. A more awesome spot with where they go for more bang for your buck, and Perry gets a top rope Hurricane Rana into a German suplex. There was a Luchasaurus backflip splash, Perry Destroyer, Doomsday Device, but Matt kicks out. I really like that spot. Bucks run wild with super kicks, 2 on Luchasaurus, 1 in a midair Jack Perry. BTE trigger, but Perry kicks out. They want the TK driver, but Luchasaurus chokeslams Nick in midair. Perry hit a Poison Rana on Matt, and they hit Countdown to Extinction for the 1, 2, 3 post-match. Here comes Mark Davis, Josh Alexander, and Lance Archer after Perry and Luchasaurus had a nice moment of offering hands and even offering money to the Young Bucks. But yeah, the Don Callis family come and beat them down. Bucks
skip to the end. I know you turn a face.
Kenny Omega comes out to make the save, but he's beaten down by the numbers game. But Jurassic Express have recovered, and they send the Don Callis family packing. There's a nice moment with Omega, with a scarf from the crowd and a sign that reads "Inoki Forever."
That was nice. That was nice. I tell you what, right? One slight criticism of this otherwise stellar match out the way. It's like that. Up for it. You have that 2 minutes where it's like, I'm really actually quite happy to see Jack Perry and Luchasaurus. I mean, I know Luchasaurus went through something far more like severe, but actually like these a great deal way back when. This is pretty awesome seeing them like sort of restored, if you like. And then you have that wonderful feeling of me and Hamflett talk about this often when there's a match. I wasn't necessarily that looking forward to this, but when you watch a match that you kind of like really want or need to be good, and then within 2 minutes it's like, oh yeah, you strap in. So I strapped in because this is so awesome so early, and then I saw some absolutely unbelievable moments of ingenuity, like that powerbomb gimmick that the Young Bucks do now, where they blast someone off the ropes, they pop up and then do it. That into the Hurricane Rana reversal. I was like, my mouth was agape. I was giddy watching it, and then it went up and up and up the gears. Truly, like in the direction of something incredible, and then it looped a little bit. Like one too many big moves, and then it started. So if you imagine it like as a line, like that diagonal line going up and up and up, it started to flatten a little bit. And I'm like, you're doing the thing where you're just adding 5 more minutes where you don't need to. To be fair, they very quickly sort of like got the nose up out of it, but that was a little bit noticeable. Otherwise, this was just awesome. Like, there was, even before that springboard powerbomb thing into the Hurricane Rana reversal, there was a sequence, and I can't remember the exact order of it, where Jack Perry was just jumping and springboarding off the middle ropes going, I was just like, this guy is kind of back, it feels like. And, you know, there's absolutely no shame whatsoever in, say he has a few more years of this, in 5 years after that, you could go back and say, you know what, Jack Perry was a modern-day tag team great. And there's nothing wrong with that. They can't all be main eventers. So I'm really sort of thrilled for him, who did one thing wrong at the worst possible time when a lot of stuff was just piling up in his head. Felt like he was actually scapegoated when it was Tony Khan's fault. Tony Khan did something way more by mismanaging that whole deal and allowing it to fester and rot and all the rest of it. Like, blame Tony Khan for that situation, not Jack Perry, please. It was just nice to see a young lad who, is a bit aloof, and I can understand why some people think whatever about him, but the guy has put in some incredible performances in his time in AEW, and this ranks very, very highly amongst them. I care nothing about the Kenny Omega Young Bucks teased reunion. Get it over with. I know where this goes. And guess what? In 18 months, they'll probably fall out again. I'm done, but I've talked about that long enough. -3 minutes, and I'm talking about this is one of my favorite matches of the year. That's how good the action was when it was good, but it went a bit too long.
I love this. I didn't even particularly clock that flatlining personally. I
don't think many of us did, to be honest.
just in my element. Watch it. I like it's to Sidge's point. I quite like the feeling of somebody in the role that we can all agree they're supposed to be in, and that's the thing with Jack Perry. And it's a sort of, maybe I'm guilty of it as well. Like it's difficult in wrestling to know your role, because sometimes that's seen as not having enough ambition, and everybody's supposed to be. And I sometimes am clamoring for people in the very main event picture in AEW right now. I am desperate for a couple of people to cut some throats and be like, right, well, if there's a spot wide open, I'm having that spot actually.
Jack Perry can't have it, so let's go on with this.
Not Jack Perry. Like, but this is the point, right? And then you sometimes have to learn the hard way, and you have to be given the ball, and then it turns out you can't run with it and whatever. But it's a really lovely feeling. Like, the inverse of that is that it's a really lovely feeling when somebody does know the role and fits it perfectly. And even though I was thinking this a bit rather than just necessarily feeling all of it, the Young Bucks must want to be there for Jack Perry as well. And their matches always kicked ass. Young Bucks, Jurassic Express.
There's one from like July 2021 on Dynamite.
Exactly.
That I talk about a lot. Go back and watch it.
It's absolutely good.
It's like awesome.
These always had brilliant chemistry. The physical fusion between Jack Perry and the Young Bucks was always just electrifying. And why would it not be? Because they're Kelly quick. You know, they want to look out for each other and do right
like
by
Darby Allin's thing.
Yeah, they want to do right by one another. And especially in a situation like this where the Young Bucks, they're the perfect opponents to book against Jurassic Express for a cool match, which is what this was, and for can we just get this act back to where they were on the off chance they're not? And already they are. And I would say, to echo both your points, with double the catharsis because of what they've both... You're right, Sidge. Luchasaurus is worse, but wrestling's weird, so we see them on the same level.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like, and we got the finisher once, so we can get Luchasaurus now.
Yes, let's get Luchasaurus.
I was worried all the money was going to go into
Cash
fans.
rules everything around me. Cream, get the money.
Somebody,
Roar.
Somebody pitched, as well as obviously Solid Gold Dinosaur Head, and what was it? Car full of chicks with chicks in a hot tub.
Yeah, so stretch limo, hot tub in the limo, chicks. So Luchasaurus has got hoes.
ODB, baby, I got your money. Blasting out the car. Pretty good as well.
Baby, I got your money, don't you know?
So,
baby, I
sorry,
got
please.
your money.
Yeah, and I also have to share Sidgwick's sentiment that, like, I saw this, I was like, oh, this again, and then I got the shivers because they're doing Two Blood and Guts, they can kiss my ass.
Kiss my ass.
But that's how it
kiss
feels like.
Kiss my ass and lick my cock.
Like, you got multiple Don Callis family members, and it's going to be the idea. You got three over there, and it's going to be like, which side of the Young Bucks going to pick? And they're going to pick the baby faces because the Callis family's got 5. And come on, we can't be doing 2 on 1 Dynamite.
Well, we are. Get used to the reality. I will say there was a point in everyone experienced this, which was so awesome. Where, like, I once described 29 Luchasaurus as like the composite best wrestler ever. He takes my childlike glee of dumb, wacky, heightened characters with, like, oh my god, this guy does all the moves of the new guys, and he's ginormous as well. There was that. Was it the cameo in the Double or Nothing Battle Royal when everyone was like, strap him now.
Build your thing, wasn't it? Start. Everybody felt it.
Strap him now. Build your company around this giant dinosaur who can do cool moves. I have been blown away. This is like nothing I've seen before. He's a giant dinosaur. I want the action figure and I want the world title reign. I want it all right now. The concentrated dose of star. I felt it in this match again. The guy was incredible. So awesome. Remember Luchasaurus? He's back.
I remember in Jurassic Express, and I'm having a bloody good time with it.
Yeah,
I really have. Yeah. This has been great all the way around.
Yeah.
Well, what followed, sorry, Sidge, was the Tornado Trios tag.
Not your fault.
It was the Demand, Ricochet, Bishop Quine, and Taliona versus the Hurt Syndicate. And I was thinking, this is so up in the air because, of course, the Hurt Syndicate lost their first tag team match on Dynamite. So it was tough to call who was going to leave as number 1 contenders, am I right in thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah. For this one.
Stick
around.
That was, you know what, having not given that a shred of thought because it's the trio stars, why would I? That actually turned out to be quite a nice little bit of foreshadowing. Like, we didn't talk in the preview once about, well, if they can beat the Demand, surely Trio's title match against the Opsa weights. And
yeah, but
that in, like that. And that's the credit I will give this presentation of the next 20 minutes or so.
It wasn't that long, mercifully.
No, just felt it.
The chat's just going wild for Richosaurus right now. John Catter says Wu-Tang announced UK dates. Richosaurus support? ?
Really? Cash rules everything around me. Rawr at the money. The Richosaurus.
We've really stumbled on something.
We have.
People suggesting he just goes to visit the Natural History Museum.
They can buy it.
Catch up with some family.
Yeah.
Buy it.
Buy and reopen Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Huge preview for this.
Yeah.
What next for Richosaurus?
Yeah.
That could be one of the bullet points.
It could be a boat.
Yeah.
As in he could buy one.
Yeah, of course he could.
The demand jumped the Hurt Syndicate during their entrance. At one point, Ricochet flies
On
in
a
with
yacht, doing the old King of the World.
Yep.
With like a really expensive silk shirt on, unbuttoned.
He does it that way, but the arms are just there because he's got the T-Rex.
Got Ava.
Avasaurus.
Ricochet flies in with a dive. Lashley doesn't go down, so Toleone just nails him with a pounce up the ramp. Lashley gets placed on a table at ringside. They open the gates on Benjamin off the steps through Lashley and the table. MVP's isolated at this point. He gets beaten down. Ricochet hits an awesome step-up shooting star press off the back of Toleone. But Benjamin breaks the count. He gets sent packing. Lashley's right, I've had enough of this. Steamrolls everyone. He wants a stalling superplex on Ricochet, but the Gates of Agony make it a super Tower of Doom for 2. I think at this point as well, MVP just went, I'll have him fall, actually, in amongst all this. Shelton Benjamin, insane. At his age, fair play, runs wild, launches Ricochet over the top onto the pile, and gets that look in his eye, and he flies onto everybody, including MVP. Comes back in with a pump knee. Lashley hits a spear on Toleone. Suddenly, Ricochet is the only one left. He's isolated. He's in trouble. But Bishop Quine pulls him to safety, takes the bullet for him, and just gets killed. There's a knee strike by Benjamin. Spear by Lashley. 1, 2, 3. Win for the Hurt Syndicate.
Yep. I'm bored, brother. Look, here's the thing about the Hurt Syndicate. They have to be awesome to justify the fact that they are, at this point, a booking conundrum. Hamflett were talking about this in the office last week. Like, the timing of their politicking could not have been worse. One episode after, feelings restored, AEW's back, all in Texas, they put the skids on the MJF thing. And it's like, it'll always be AEW where there's certain wrestlers who aren't even a main event act, who have too much power, and the old problems will always plague AEW and yada, yada, yada. So I've kind of been in a little bit of a mood with the Hurt Syndicate after the summer they had, to the point now where I'm like, go on then, impress me. If you're that good, show me you're good. And you get this weird match where they're not particularly good at structuring matches, in a way, more than, this is going to sound weird considering they are the powerhouse badasses and they look the part. They have like spot fests more than the AEW spot fests.
Yeah.
Because what people call AEW spot fests, and let's face it, most of them involve the books. They build and build and build where you reach that absolute magic click point of, I cannot believe this has reached this level of excitement and please don't stop. That's craftsmanship that gets called a spot fest, but it's actually just as exciting as pro wrestling gets, and it's what you're meant to do. Build, 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 build. With the Hurt Syndicate, it often just feels like kind of drab, brawly, punchy bit. Incredible spot, or spot that is meant to be incredible. Then it kind of slows down. It's all very bitty and uneven.
There's no elegance to it.
There's it's just, there's nothing, there's never this sense of just escalating and building and escalating into this absolute orgy of pro wrestling violence. Get me blood. I need to drink it now. You know what I mean? It never has that. It's always like, cool bit, meh. Cool bit, drab bit, cool bit, drab bit, cool bit, drab bit. Like, I mean this as a compliment, even though it doesn't sound like it. They're like a pretty not as good Mike Awesome. Because Mike Awesome would just go, right, this is the start and this is the end. They ain't too similar. They ain't too different. He's going to get some absolute cool blow-away spots all the time. He never had, like, a structure. It was like, my turn, your turn. Kick your ass, kick my ass. 10 minutes of just caveman violence bliss. He would do, like, avalanche stuff after the initial, like, but it was never like, his beauty was like, oh, it's not elegant. It's just a war with loads of bombs. That's kind of what the Hurt Syndicate do, which is not as cool.
Now I've awesome bombed you through a table. I've really weakened your back. It was like, no. Well, that was my first attempt to kill you, and there's a second one coming unless you kill me first.
With the Hurt Syndicate, it's like cool spot, bit of flab where I'm kind of turned off. Really cool spot. It just doesn't really do much for me.
Yeah, I got very little out of this one, and like it's the fault of the booking. We've seen all the combinations.
Performances aren't amazing either.
MVP is not very good, and I feel like that's worth flagging. Like he has been placed in at least one of these matches before as the designated pin guy, right? Which in itself was like it was the second consecutive example of all the cynics are saying this about the Hurt Syndicate, following on from Forbidden Dow. All the cynics are saying about the Hurt Syndicate. Yeah, good call by the cynics. You know, like 'cause it was just two.
Gotta say, the cynics were bang on.
Two finishes in a row that just.
Sorry, I yawned there. I was up a lot last week. I was wondering if Jack Perry and Kenny Omega could coexist.
And we do not do bits, so that definitely is.
I'm still catching up on my sleep. Sorry about that.
But I've seen everything. Ricochet was quite good. Ricochet was trying to wrestle this into being more electrifying than it was. Shelton Benjamin, actually, yeah, it would be unfair not to highlight the stuff he did. It's a bit hair-ruffly and patronising. To be like, good on you, Shelton, because like he's a wrestler. He's paid to save his big spots for the big nights, and that's what he did. I would argue this one here was that they're always too long. There's always too many matches. I always think of your take on Kyle Fletcher the day that you were like, well, he has to go in a singles match every time. What are you going to do about that? Like every pay-per-view requires it's like the WrestleMania board with Shane McMahon on. Kyle Fletcher gets a singles match. I would argue for quite a while now the Hurt Syndicate with these matches and these feuds haven't really warranted.
No.
This could have been tailgate, especially considering that it's a rematch of a rematch of a rematch. And that's maybe where their politics are getting played. It's like, well, we need our payoff on the big pay-per-view. This was,
Have they ever had the best match on a pay-per-view?
Nah.
Have they often had one of the matches you'd happily skip?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean...
And these shows, when we talk about longevity and pacing and structure, a lot of the time it's because if you just took a match out or you skim time here, everything would improve. So
there's a match that's coming up that... Yeah, we'll get to it.
Well, you mentioned Kyle Fletcher there. It's the TNT title match next.
I thought this. Me and Murray had a
while.
pleasant disagreement over the desk over this morning, but that was the big takeaway for me on this one.
I watched this and was kind of like, by the end, obviously, it's Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe. It's the fifth one, obviously, TNT title. I thought, well, if anyone's going to do it, could be Mark Briscoe and all this. Like, he deserves something. He bloody lost again. But, I watched it and went, quite long this. Yeah. And then I looked online and it was
24 minutes.
It was like half the people were like, I loved it, which felt all subjective, obviously. Half the people were like, I loved it, and half the people were like, well, not just me. You thought it took a while to get going. This didn't it? And I think we were all in agreement here. I've only written the notes for the end really because I was just sort of like stuff was happening. They were working really well together. It's there's a reason they've had 5 matches.
Their
together.
floor's pretty goddamn high.
Yeah. Briscoe fires back up at one point though. He's been trying for the J Driller throughout this match. I think he hit it on the apron at one point, perhaps. But he hits one here in the ring to win the TNT title. But Kyle Fletcher gets literally a finger on the rope. Briscoe wants a cutthroat driver, but Fletcher just grabs the referee for leverage, shoves Briscoe into the ref, kicks him in the cock, hits a brainbuster. 1, 2, Briscoe kicks out.
Unbelievable near fall.
Yeah, Kyle Fletcher cannot believe it.
Unbelievable near fall.
Proper bug eyes. What?
Callis was already stood up celebrating.
Yeah.
Taking the headset off, and they're like, put it back on, Don.
Really great touch, that. Actually proven his worth.
He's actually thinks he's won it again after hitting a running knee. But again, Briscoe kicks out. So he lawn darts him, hits him with a flying corner kick and an avalanche brainbuster to get the 1, 2, 3. Kyle Fletcher retains.
So here's something about this match, right? I wonder if... I think we were talking about this on the preview. Maybe it was a shared experience or whatever. It was... This again? Okay. This again? Yeah, okay. I think that feeling was pretty evident. You can almost hear it or not hear it, as the case may be, in the arena. I wonder if they'd never touched this as a pairing, right? This would be a good, bold, effective bit of booking where you've built Mark Briscoe by having him go over your top heel, MJF, and then you've, in a way, sacrificed him to the real project, the younger guy who's probably more likely to headline more pay-per-views than Mark Briscoe. I wonder if the first 4 matches didn't happen and this felt fresh and this felt like, God, who can win this? He can make a great case for either guy. So in a way, this said a lot for Kyle Fletcher, I think. A good, bold bit of booking. You've got a winner from the previous pay-per-view and a guy who lost but gained a lot by going in that long main event and theoretically establishing himself as a near enough. He's on every single pay-per-view. He's can main event it again because people will remember the great Hangman match that I personally thought was a little bit long in the tooth and overrated, but many people didn't. In some ways, quite a bold bit of purposeful business where someone has to lose, and it's more dramatically effective when it feels like no one can lose.
Brilliant bump on the Avalanche Brainbuster as well.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it was incredible. So maybe if the first 4 encounters hadn't happened, this might have felt a little bit like a match that really served the purpose and was bold to do. However, I've seen it. This is probably the weakest of the bunch because it did take a while to get there. Maybe that absolutely incredible near fall doesn't get the response and doesn't have the same drama surrounding it if the match hadn't gone so long and you're thinking, like, bloody hell, he's going to have to win. He's going to win now. Hopes dashed. Like, I felt a lot for the last 5 minutes. But at the same time, hard to get inspired by any of it, really.
The bounce by Briscoe, like the Van Damme-esque DDT bounce into the splat, I would argue is what actually earned the near fall.
Yeah.
Because that was so impressive. Oh, he's just killed a guy.
Yeah.
That's that.
Yeah.
Like, and I do wonder if, because it was sort of like, I feel guilty criticising these two because I like them both so much, but it was quite sort of, I don't know, like a bit vapid and empty work, wasn't it? It was a bit soulless from two wrestlers that you could never accused of having that. Like, Mark Briscoe's one of the few remaining heart and sleeve baby faces that you would happily carry all the way at the world title on that alone. Fletcher is the ever-evolving, ever-improving heel who is so good that there is a baby face running him that, like, feeds families whilst he's... Like, there's Brett... Sean comparison to Hangman Fletcher was apt for so many reasons. Yeah. One of which is because there was obviously a dormant babyface lying within the heel of Heartbreak Kid. The same can be said of Kyle Fletcher in this current period, where he's like streets ahead of so many of his peers. And yet, I wasn't seeing it here.
No.
And like Sean would have those nights against like Perfect and that, whereas like there's such a prodigious talent that every now and then your expectations have risen beyond maybe what is fair. But because I don't know how the agent of these things, I'd like to think there's a whiteboard with the time on, but sometimes it does feel like that, like, freedom of expression gets the better of certain wrestlers, and maybe that happened with Kyle Fletcher because it did feel like a lot of, like empty at the end stuff, nothing really built to where we got to by the end.
Nearly as long as the main event.
Yeah, I did. I mean, it almost certainly didn't need the time.
Was there a story that got us to like a double brainbuster finish? I would argue not. Like,
no. And I will say one thing, and it's. I feel for Kyle Fletcher, but because he's Ospreay's mate, and stylistically there are similarities, and Ospreay himself considered by many to be the best wrestler of his generation. Many people think he is chasing Kenny Omega's legacy, and it's such a ridiculous sort of, I guess, a way to describe it as a stylistic lineage for him to live up to, like AJ, Ospreay, Omega. Like, he wants to be in that class. At the very peak of, can't speak for AJ Styles, I was not a big TNA guy, but Omega and Ospreay from, like, I don't know, just their peak years, I can't recall a performance that didn't better the last one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, maybe, I think Omega's had one, to be fair, everyone gets one, where I think was when he just won the title and he had a match against Ishii after the G1 and it was like, 4 stars, Kenny, are you joking? just that. So maybe it is too harsh, but Omega and Ospreay, I'm sorry, if you're going to be in that class, you kind of have to blow everyone's tits off match after match after match after match. And maybe if you look at the health of both men, you shouldn't do that. But at the minute, that's the expectation.
What do you make of this from Joshi Burnett in the comments? Thank you to everyone again for joining us and sending us your comments. Kyle Fletcher is great, but is he turning into Zarya with all the screaming every time he performs a move?
There's an element of it. There is an element of it but again, Like, if you look at what age he is compared to where Ospreay was, I don't have a year, like, off the top of my head, it's a very good question, an age for age comparison. But there was a point when Will Ospreay, right, and again, I think Kyle Fletcher's probably a little bit better than Ospreay at the same age, maybe. I'd have to do the math, calc, and frig.
Good.
I think we've done it before. But there was a point in Ospreay's career, we're still getting fives, it's Dave, but there was a point in Ospreay's career before he became the complete, like, incredible Will Ospreay, where he would get accused, oh, you know, you don't really sell that often. I'll show you! And he would just start to overcorrect. Can you remember his screaming phase?
Yes.
He went through a screaming phase.
A junior heavyweight champion in New Japan, so he was knocking it out the park, but like...
And then he went through a screaming phase.
Moved from like just bouncing off his neck to like screaming about bouncing off.
Yeah, oh my fucking neck! We did a bit, not that we do bits, but we did a bit about it. Then
like
he
clap crowds. Oh, bloody hell! Off a chop or something.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, he learned. I think a lot's been placed expectations-wise upon Kyle Fletcher, and you forget that he's just learning. It's something he might look back on in 2 years' time and go, God, I wish I hadn't done that quite as much. But they're eager to impress at this age.
I was writing about him for 10 best wrestlers of the year. It'll be at the end of the year, and I can say confidently October will be in it. He cut the blonde mop last October.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Wow.
You know what I mean? That's not in 12 months yet.
Yeah.
Like, unbelievable.
He's still finding his feet as a singles guy,
Yep.
you could argue.
What followed that was Chris Statlander versus Timeless Tony Storm for the AEW Women's title. Starts way better. She smashed her. She was great. She's just like, oh yeah, you used to be the champion. I'm way better than you. She kicked the race. Yes, Storm got in some great offense. She hit several Storm zeros, but Stat kicks out of everything. Goes for a seatbelt pin at one point, but Storm kicks out. They trade no sell. Release Germans. Stat hits a discus lariat and Saturday Night Fever. Gets the head scissors submission in. Storm tries to get out of it by folding up Statlander, but that only allowed Statlander to get it in deeper. Storm is desperate. I thought she was going to go out at one point. She's desperately trying to escape. She screams to effing killer to Chris Statlander. So Stat just lets go of the submission and hits a huge Saturday Night Fever for the 1, 2, 3. We'll talk about the match and then we'll talk about the post-match.
On this evidence, despite having probably one of the weaker matches on the card and not what you would expect from like a match between wrestlers who in the build in that wonderful Renee Paquette video package were framed as like equals who just haven't happened to cross paths. In a way, if you want to justify doing a 25-minute match, this probably earned it more than Briscoe and Fletcher, but they are women. So that's probably not going to happen. What a bold choice this was. I really liked it as a story. And God, if every wrestler had the confidence and assurance of Tony Storm, everyone would probably be a lot better off. A lot of it will be in the follow-up booking wise for Statlander. But Tony Storm, instead of a weird parallel with Storm Mercedes, throughout Tony Storm versus Mercedes money at All in Texas, the constant thread, at least in my head, tracking that match was, Tony's going to win this. Tony's better. Mm-hmm. And she's just showing you all throughout the match. This is the inverse of that, where it's like, oh, God, her time has come. And look at the Statlander. Look at how awesome she is. Like that sequence where Tony Storm hits the, what you call it now? It used to be Sweet Cheek Music. The Hip Attack.
Yeah.
Much worse name. Because everything, she's got more vulgar since she changed the name.
Yeah.
She should call it the, I don't know, what's a vulgar name, chat, for the Hip Attack that Tony Storm would approve of?
Keep an eye out for it. The clapping the cheeks or something.
Yes, exactly.
Ass to mouth.
Ass to mouth clapping cheeks. Oh, no, I'm going to have to come up with one. The
This is the taxed in most review.
The brown eye of the storm.
Good.
Something like that.
Very
you know?
nice.
And then Stat springboarded out of the subsequent Storm Zero attempt. It's like, all your best stuff I can just easily evade and then kick your ass subsequently. This wasn't a great pay-per-view AEW match, if you like, but they told the emphatic story of, well, it's Statlander's time now. A lot of time for it is a thing that they did. Not going to trouble match of the air charts. And if anything, Maybe they're leaving something in the tank for the next one when Toni Storm gets back to her level and they have a more even back and forth. But as a selfless bit of business from a division ace, like, you must be loving having Toni Storm. If you look at the headaches that lesser talents have given Tony Khan over the years, and you've got one of the most over performers and characters in your entire company willing to do such an emphatic job to catapult Chris Statlander into Division Ace, and the story of the match means there's no doubt about it whatsoever. She's the most valuable wrestler in the company.
It's funny you mention the Mercedes Moné match, because like that one, I remember watching that and feeling like they were doing such a good job of presenting what felt like a match worthy of this big card, but blatantly leaving tons in for the rematch.
Yeah.
Like a real Omega Okada quality to their, what's the second one going to offer? Because here's what they're kind of like giving away now. And I got that a bit with this, but like, I would say it's the same as, maybe you've just summed it up for me actually. Like, it's the same as knowing your role. I don't think Statlander is the ace. I think she's playing the one and Toni Storm's the ace. I didn't buy it.
She couldn't give her a better...
I knew what I was watching, and I knew that this was a really earnest... I would classify this as a noble failure. Like, they played with this idea on Dynamite that Statlander, no matter what you've seen of her in the past, that's been by design, because she's this evolving figure. She can have once been an alien. She can once have been this somebody that, like, turned heel and went with Stokely Hathaway, and now she's back as... All the things that Statlander's done in, like... Whenever you analyse 6 years of a wrestler's life, it's going to look like this sometimes. And she kind of justified that. And that came true for Toni Storm. It was like, you won't really see what I've got like in my arsenal. You won't see it coming. And she didn't. And she was beaten. But I was watching the work of that rather than the story. I didn't believe it, you know. I love Chris Statlander, and I would have booked this. I would have booked her to be world champion. Like, I don't mind when bookers make mistakes if I think I would have made them too. Like, I would have given her the belt. I would have given her the run. I would have had to beat everybody, which evidently is what she's going to do for a while.
Space Core Holly actually happened.
Yeah, yeah, it sure did. On early evidence, I don't think she's going to be it. Sorry. Like, Jack Perry wasn't it, but I've just said how great it is seeing a role that fits. I don't know. I'm just getting a sense with this that like Toni Storm is so the guy when it comes to this division. And Mercedes Moné, you know, is so the like it had to be to pay something off. But when she leaves, when Mercedes Moné first comes out, and says, "Get out," and she just goes, you're like, "Yep, out of the way, you." You know, I didn't. You know, I wasn't like, sort of, don't take that lying down.
Well, before we get to that, the butt bomb, rump thump, the rectum, your time has bum, the posterior punisher, the rear, like spear, says Mr. Jeans, rear window, fan appreciation, the shot through the heart, the hip slip, arse blast, Asablanca.
Asablanca's good stuff.
Brian Weddick of the SmackDown Friday.
Who else? Good work, Brian.
But as you mentioned, following the win, out comes Mercedes.
Money.
And a surprise babyface turn. We're going to talk a lot about a heel turn on this show. Surprise babyface turn by Mercedes here. Because who is she flanked by?
The crew.
The frat house, that's right. The frat house were there. Carrying the titles, and I was like, she's hanging out with the right sort of people right here. They're going right to the top, baby.
Just on the frat house a second. God bless the frat house, because it was deemed better to advertise TBA than sell a frat house match.
Yeah.
Because they were the designated losers to Eddie Kingston and Hook. And it wasn't like Kingston and Hook taking on the frat house. Look forward to the squash. It was like, please tune in. Eddie Kingston's wrestling.
Yeah.
I don't watch the Eddie Kingston match now. No, I know the frat house are in it.
See, you're the kind of reverse of how they view the...
Yeah, I'd have tuned in for that bit. Anyway, she...
They were funny with it.
Yeah, good stuff. Good value. Mercedes congratulates Stat on her win, says, get the hell out of my ring. She does.
Weird.
I know they got back there, but you were left with like 10, 12 minutes of being like, oh, well, loser.
I didn't think that. Chris, where you going, mate? You don't have to.
Do you remember when Sasha did this?
The Porg chart.
With the 2016 Rumble where she just kicked Becky Lynch out the ring when she was challenging Charlotte Flair.
Yeah. Get out.
Still a baby face,
Sasha. She says, celebrates being the longest reigning TBS champion of all time. Ultimo Monet, of course.
Why can't it be Ultimo Money? Mercedes Ultimone.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't really matter. Actually, she's 12-time as well. She's record-breaking yet again. But before we get to that, she lays out this open challenge. Who's going to put a title on the line? And who is it? But Mina Shirakawa, the interim ROH Women's
This felt like death. Seeing her arrive on the ramp, and they kept saying, interim. They kept saying interim.
I was like, I better say we had a discussion about interim titles quite some time ago.
Have you made any notes on this?
Very briefly.
Yeah, I thought. I wouldn't have either.
Moneymaker, Shirakawa gets a rope break. Crowd gets back into it a bit there. She yells at yells at Shirakawa, says she'll never have her title. Tries for the Moneymaker again. Shirakawa sends her into the corner repeatedly. You think, oh, she's into it now. She charges, but Monet gets a backslide and gets her foot on the ropes to steal it. Post-match, confetti rains down.
What's a mass? What's a mass up?
Post-match.
Interim title match.
Dream mass.
The Black Mass. Post-match, confetti rains down. She's broken the record. She is a record breaker. And then Chris Statlander's like, actually, no, I'm not happy with what I've been thinking about what you said earlier. And I've decided, no, I'm not happy with it. It's a Samoan drop. Monet runs off.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
They're going to face it full gear?
Yeah, this match was.
They were awesome last year, them two.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that again.
This was sad because I remember one of my favorite sort of, bloody hell, this is way better than I thought. It's done a lot for both wrestlers' matches of the year. It was Mercedes Money versus Mina Shirakawa from Dynamite. And they've undone that feeling. They've not helped Mercedes Money here. This was the definition of stat padding. Who cares how many belts she has? It's a cool visual. It enhances the idea of this traveling invincible, like women's Andre, kind of, if you like.
12 now. She won one on Sunday, didn't she?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. This was really not a good idea. The fairly or otherwise, I would say fairly, AEW luxuriates in the week and just grab someone from this promotion, this legend from yesteryear. We got Sting back. We could have Nick Gage. Juventud Guerrera, for Christ's sake. Have an existing member of the roster for this angle. You're better off just doing the match on Dynamite because you create a level of expectation that even with a live show charisma, Mina Shirakawa, and how popular she is, ain't going to be able to match. You don't want to give you don't want to tarnish a genuine, actual fan favorite with just her. Boring. I see her all the time. You want to be like, you do the opposite. You go, oh, it's Mina again. We like her. And the match was really boring and heatless.
Yeah, this was anti-promotional stuff, really.
You just really tarnish one of your star acts.
Yeah, like the opposite of how we should present either of these. And I felt a bit of sympathy for Mina Shirakawa here. And you may have noticed that I wasn't really high on much of this pay-per-view after the Young Bucks Jurassic Express, but I will give these two credit because there was like a smattering of noise towards the end, and that was them. Like they earned that.
Yeah.
Because I fully support the fans electing to not take this one seriously.
I was sitting on my hands a bit. It probably wasn't fair on them, but they were put in a position to fail.
Like, shout out Larry Rabb, who we saw multiple times on camera, including in the next match.
I was about to get to him,
fashion. But like him and the rest of the crowd, right? You have to pick your spots at these AEW shows, and I would have picked this one 10 times out of 10 because it was unannounced. It wasn't promoted ahead of time. The finish was never ever in doubt, and the stakes were pretty low to begin with. It's a series of worst case scenarios where if you're lucky, they might surprise you with like a cool finishing stretch or something. So the fans were smartly selective about basically taking a rest, and for them to get a little something out of them was to the wrestlers' credit here.
I will see. Mr. Directions loves his directions. Mr. Map.
Yep.
It's everyone calls you
call
that.
me. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Map.
They did this thing where Tony loses.
Yeah.
And then Mina loses on the same night. So they're like, bloody hell, should we have a tag team?
Nice that.
So that's kind of another reason why it happened. But she could have lost a match on Collision and went, oh, you lost on Collision, I lost at the pay-per-view. Let's form a tag team and make the pay-per-view shorter.
Yeah. And I'm only the interim TV champion anyway. And it's only Ring of Honor. So.
So who cares, really?
Yeah.
I mean, they have to pretend to care. That's their job.
Yes.
It's one of those, like, screaming at the void criticisms of Tony Khan, isn't it? These things that he does will never, ever change. Like, there'll always be this like super service to the show's expense or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Good question from Maggie O'Kenna in the chat, who says, if Mercedes gets hurt, do all 11 titles become interim?
Oh, God, can you imagine?
Oh, no, they're doubling in size.
I think some of these indies can barely afford the belt in the first place. So creating the design. I don't know about that.
they can't pay the postage to get it back.
Yeah.
Can you cover this, Tony? 11 belts? You kidding me?
You can afford it.
It's called FedEx, not Dubex.
Actually, afford to write me a check.
Right, let's get to the AEW Tag Team title
If you
match.
just give us like, I don't know, $1,000 a week or whatever.
Oh,
I'd be like, Dynamite was great.
I was going to say, the people that still do that bit, you would sharp know if we were getting checks. But
Yeah,
we're not that good actors.
Oh!
Oh my god.
This
oh my
one,
God.
like, you
Oh
get like
my
gold
God.
rimmed glasses. They're like, another amazing Dynamite. The Fed. Like that. I'd buy a no
my
year.
God. Oh my God, does this mean if you look at the match on this Dynamite, oh my God, we're getting LFI versus the Ops next week?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Get Raw out the way because it's collision time.
Yeah. No time for a Raw preview today because it's Collision Central.
We're
Oh
doing
my god.
a second collision review.
Oh my God, it's been 3 weeks since we had a tag singles match. You know, it's a gimmick where they do a member of FTR versus, they did Kevin Knight, I think it was, versus a member of FTR. And I'm like, it's Dags.
Who could it be there? I'm going to put my money on the line here.
It's always Dax. So,
Oh, God. Anyway, Tony can't send the
Also,
checks.
like,
and we'll
for-
review the tailgate if you send the checks.
Look
I
at
mean,
me
that's
like,
like go nuts.
I look at my, so like,
$1,000 a week. I'm still not watching that.
I watched the Friday.
Still watching Collision. Free Dynamite,
I also really like the idea that in kayfabe they've gone pretty close to getting on air for this pay-per-view time. Dax, you reckon keep it nice and short out there? Don't you worry, boss. See you later. And he only went like 15 minutes. I'll keep it under 10 in opposite land. What was that?
Back in a minute.
Right, Rodito.
Those OG Geordie Shaw like group changed the language, didn't they? I remember that. I got on then. It's like, you've just committed murder.
My wife's got a nerve saying wrestling's fake. I walked in and I'm watching Geordie Shaw OGs on MTV. the other
Sorry?
day.
Is that a new one?
So it's like we're all adults now. We used to fuck each other and finger each other and suck each other and lick each other all over the fucking tune when we were about 10 years ago and that. But no, we're all grown up now. And then it follows the individual original cast members of Geordie Shaw, and it's the most sinfully dull. It's like this. How can you make this dull? It's these Rajis. It's like, well, you know, Gaz has had the kid, you know. Of all people, Gary Beatles had the kid. And then there's the kid and everything. And there's one of Holly going, yeah, I think I'll go with this one for Instagram. Get drunk and love each other. That's
Tear the town up, please. Yeah. Told you that story of like me and Adele used to be like Geordie Shaw addicts, and then
I used to be.
Charlie was born midway through the first series, and he was just sat in his baby chair, and we just stuck Geordie Shaw, and I just watched this for a bit. There's the telly. There's our newborn first child. And we're like, oh God, that's the world he's grown up into. We just turned it off, never turned it back on. Like on it had this like profound. Oh, that's what one day all children can grow into. You know, that's no shade on the Geordie Shaw. They're just living a life. They were youngins, but it was like I can't think the world is like that now that I've brought children into it, and it was gone.
This is one of two Sidgwick's personal anecdotes, because I've got one for the main event that I'm going to tell you. I might have told this on the podcast before. I lived in Sandyford, like the closest suburb to the city centre. You just walk up from Haymarket right, and pretty much Sandyford's like there. I walked past the Geordie Shaw before when they were filming season 1.
All right, yeah.
So I didn't even know what they looked like. I saw video cameras, young people who look like they are going to be on a reality TV show. We'd heard the rumours. I said, oh, it's Geordie Shaw. And like they were like trying to, hey, party, and who's that little party next to him while we walk? And I was just like, do not put me on. And the guy holding the boom mic was like, you don't have to worry about it. Sorry about that. I was like, get me away from them.
Geordie Shaw.
Geordie Shaw.
And they were that part of town very often, were they? Let's be real. Like,
No,
what's
it's always,
who's there? The Diamond Strip?
I used to love that place.
Maggie O'Kenna says if they don't do an Only Way is Essex Geordie Shaw crossover, they're leaving money on the table. Have they never done that?
They must
I don't
have
think
done.
so.
I feel like MTV just.
You ever watch The Valleys, the Welsh one?
Nah.
That was it was like everyone. I'm sorry, Wales people are mad. Like,
It was like when
Sanchez
Jackass.
Jackass, they did the valleys. It's like, Christ, week 1. We're doing this
You
week
know,
1.
earlier on when me and you were talking over the exit doors about the main event of this, and I was using that other comparison. I was like, maybe I was wrong about 2019. That felt like Dirty Sanchez to Jackass.
Yeah.
Can you make him more of a Jackass guy? There's an art to it.
Yeah, there is an art to it.
But before that, we got Brodito versus Okada and Takeshita for the AEW Tag Team titles. Wild this. At one point, Bandito and Takeshita trade Poison Ranas. There's a cannonball on Okada by Brody
That was
King.
arranged brilliantly, by the way.
Yeah, he falls back into a blue thunder bomb by Takeshita. Bandito flies off the top with a shooting star press for 2. Mad sequence. Bandito, following that, leaps for a crossbody on Okada, but he just drop kicks him out of the air. Bandito escapes a Rainmaker, tries a 21-plex. Takeshita saves his partner, and then Brody King's like, right, fine, I'll just suplex all 3 of you. Crowd goes nuts for all this. Bandito ducks a Rainmaker. Okada nails Takeshita instead. Sorry. Not really sorry, was it? Big smile on his face. Like the bit where at one point he did his, what am I going to do? Hey, flip every off. Oh, here comes my partner.
I can't stop doing this because I hate you so much.
Bandito wants the 21-plex, but the bad arm, they've targeted the bad arm throughout the match, of course.
The timing, sorry. I'll probably do most of my analysis. The timing of when you had to do that, when you realize, oh, God, my shoulder's given out. And then when it's like, no, you know what? I'm just going to do it anyway. Both those spots, like Bandito's incredible. Like in terms of, oh, he can't do it. Oh, yeah, he did it.
Brody's motivational talks would motivate anyone, wouldn't they? And he's like, don't give up! Because he comes in and is like, I'll fight for you as well. Hits a sit-out DVD on Okada. Takes that. It's like, don't give up. I'll be right back. Dives onto Takeshita and Bandito. One-arm 21-plex. Pins Okada. And then Bandito goes to leave and King goes, where are you going? And there's
Larry, front row.
Larry donated. I meant to give him a shout-out. He says, good day, everyone. AW pay-per-views are amazing. He was there in attendance, if you're
Try
unaware.
telling him that.
AW pay-per-views are amazing, but too long. I was so tired by the time Tony and Chris came out. Have a wonderful week. And yeah, Brian points out, probably tired doing too many Macarena dances, if anything.
If anything. I had a fantastic time this match. I loved it. And I think if I wasn't that bothered about the story, I might have said, here's the refrain. Take 3 minutes out the first 10. You didn't need it that much. Maybe, but I was just like, is Kazuchika Okada having a great year? Not a great year. A very watchable, fun year.
He's banging into the Takeshita feud.
You can tell
Yeah,
this
he's
is
into it,
energized.
isn't he? Yeah.
They're-
It's the longest match on the card.
This stuff with Takeshita seems to have really re-energized him. Bandito, in terms of he's spectacular, but I'm not saying he's never provoked an emotional response out of me ever before, but maybe perma damage your shoulder in the same way Shawn Michaels did with his back and Matt Jackson did with his, because this just adds this extra layer to Bandito. He's always been able to sell and all the rest of it, but my God, this is just incredible. As I said, those 2 moments where it was like, oh, he can't do it because of his fucking shoulder, and then, oh yeah, he doesn't care about the shoulder, he can do one a bloody arm. That's how much of a hero he is. Absolutely incredible. This was arranged brilliantly. The tone of it was fantastic. If you're going to have that long a match, like, just do different things in the time frame. And Okada was like, priceless at points, like the Macarena.
He's also really enjoying the bit where it felt like a long time when they just tag in and out. Like, I'll beat your shoulder up now. You want to have a go? Yeah, I'll have it.
He's such an arsehole as well, because Takeshita, who was, again, incredible, but a lot of these things kind of go without saying. The action displayed by this AEW wrestler was incredible. Just put that little on the soundboard, because it always is. We just never really say it.
Callis was good as well. Okada, you all right? He's like, yeah, cool. Do you care about the other one? Or?
But when Okada was like, Takeshita had the match won, and Okada was like, I'll take it from here, nurse. And just it's like, oh, you dickhead, you absolute dickhead. And the Rainmaker bit was just like, I love at the end. He's like, he was like, it's only the tag titles, eh?
Yeah.
Well, I think I like you being hurt more. They're built like, this is a great, different tag match with loads of range, loads of excitement. I kind of laughed and exploded with joy at various points. This did entertainment value and action. This was a real great time for me, genuinely. But I just love at the end as well that this Okada Takeshita thing is going to keep on rumbling, and that Okada got what he deserved. Because it's only the tag titles. It's funnier seeing you in that position. Now we got pinned by Bandito. That's had an effect. Now his content is
Unified title.
Unified titles now in the threat on Wednesday. It won't be, but in storylines it is.
Like, more of this is necessary in AEW. This match was great action, but like, what isn't great? Who hasn't got a belt?
The entertainment value is incredible.
Entertainment out the ass because they're 4 characters involved in a storyline with one another and storylines separately. The Brodido, sympathy, Bandito never feeling like he's good enough, and then like he's a one-armed man fighting for it basically, while you've got this peacocking thing that is increasing in its violence now with Okada and Takeshita for just a bunch of different glorious payoffs that are going to have a sprawling effect on AEW's roster writ large. Like, this is a product of booking as well as the great action, and there was nowhere near enough of this on this card. It stood out as a result. We said in the preview, it was like, this is the thing you're feeling the most excited for because it's the thing you've got a lot of There's a run
Match of the night, people said in the chat.
I would probably go Jurassic's Bucks for me, but like maybe that was a bit more surprised by that. Like this
is a match of the night for me.
This is way more of what I want because there was just loads of in-character stuff. It had so much personality to it. Like start booking again. Like there's nowhere near enough of these. This was up and down the roster.
This is a joy. I had so much fun with this, and sorry, Hamflett, I'm going to talk about a boring action spot now. That, they do it every time they wrestle, and it blows my tits off every time. That Takeshita Bandito, Hurricane Rana, head spike into the ground bump. It kills me every time. It's like the timing on that is outrageous.
The length of his legs that make it seem as impossible as it is, because you've got so far to get round.
I mean, that bump, he's an animal.
Yeah, really, really enjoyed this. And a little bit of a behind the curtain for me. So I watched this last night, and I'd taken care of making sure that the news goes out as podcasts on the day during the day on Sunday. So I'd anticipated the Sting stuff, but I'd seen all this stuff. But also, one of Pollard's stories was major heel turn at WrestleDream, which we'll get to. So when Brody King went, hey, to Brodido, what was his name? Bandito. My arse dropped. I was like, no, don't do it! Like that. And I didn't. It's fine. Oh, sorry. Very weird. Then we got the AEW Men's World Title match. Hangman Page versus Samoa Joe. I was about to say this felt like it could have been a TV title match. And I looked over and I've seen Senator!
I was not ready for such a sharp pivot from Okada to the Senator.
What was this?
Yeah, this got what the book.
It got what it deserved.
So much so that I've just
can the liars stop lying now? Come on,
Roddy and Joe in 1 week. Bad week for the liars.
Terrible week for them. I'm glad.
I'm not saying Roddy and Samoa Joe haven't taken wrestling to just incredible heights over the years, but come on.
Yep.
Yeah. It was
methodical.
Yes. Thank you. Page tried a buckshot, but lands in the.
It took 3 of them. Jesus, that was the story of the match. You honestly don't have to take the notes.
Okina clutch. Page fights out of it eventually, getting a rope break.
Do you know why the universe was against this one? Like,
it was boring.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's loads of reasons. We called it from the beginning, but like we have a lot of fun. Punk Page, tribalism, all that sort of stuff. There's never any denial about the brilliance of Hangman Page when the bell rings. They worked this bit with the Orihara, and then like push came to shove, and it was a bit botched.
Missed it.
Yeah, Hangman's not a flub guy.
Who's taught him that? Morishade or something?
But like, and that's when you know that it's like like the universe is not on your side with this one, and you can't work this one back to life.
Yeah,
that's when you knew.
Joshi Burner has written, who knew Hangman was such an NXT fan? He stole Morishade's moonsault from NXT Showdown, and they went for the pin straight after.
She's going to show you what she's made of. Oh, nothing.
Yeah, Paige gets out the muscle buster. Deadeye goes to the apron.
That looked good. That was impressive.
I guess a near fall, I should mention, yeah. 1, 2, 3. Buckshots. 1, 2, 3.
I tell you what, they set this match up in the promo duel and worked it in a completely different way.
Yeah.
I thought, right, God, this wrestling disease, this compulsion with a 20-minute minimum title match needs to die. If this goes 10 minutes, just Christ almighty. I mean, maybe Joe's not up to it or whatever. I don't know. Like, Samoa Joe.
Like steamroller cardio. Just goes all out.
Just goes all out in a concentrated burst of glorious pro wrestling violence. Strike, strike, strike. Hangman Page is blown away, barely survives, and then
Bleeding from the mouth like he was, yeah.
And then Joe, it's like, oh my God, he's tiring. And it's not as if like Joe wouldn't put himself forward for that kind of match. Page basically said, without saying it, I'm in better condition. I mean, I am. I'm more likely in 2025 to go an hour than you are. I don't know. Just, you get the best of Joe and you get a shorter match because there's no drama and there was no doubt whatsoever about the outcome. Literally blindside people into getting excited about your match by doing a really urgent, violent sprint. They didn't do that. This was like the worst kind of Joe WWE match where it's like, bloody hell, is this ever going to end?
Yeah, him and AJ never got there in WWE, did they?
That one that light. Because it was really stiff. The SummerSlam one was really stiff.
Because they'd gone from trilogies to like quadrilogies.
Yeah.
It was like, there was 5 of them, Jesus.
And they just laid it in that SummerSlam one. But no, broadly, they never got there.
But yeah, post-match, Shibata and Powerhouse Hobbs come down, check on Joe. Joe shakes Page's hand, gives him a little cuddle, and then just levels him with a clothesline. And they beat him down to the 3 of them. Joe grabs the world title and cracks him in the head. And then Joe hits a muscle buster onto the title with the help of Hobbs and Shibata. And Joe walks off, having turned heel alongside the Ops, flipping off the fans.
Good and bad in that never really liked the Ops. It was always a bit try-hardy for me. So I never really like, oh yeah, the Ops, yeah. Never did that. Love how Fred Durst voice has just become a bit. Not that, yeah. But it's like a threat on the horizon. The second Joe Hangman title match. At least he'll step it up.
I thought for a split second, MJ, I know he can't cash in anymore, but I thought he was going to come out and say, when they were like helping him out, and I was like, bloody hell, he's really in trouble here because he's got the neck stuff already with the Carl Fletcher stuff, and now he's just had muscle buster onto the title. For a split second, I thought, is MJF going to come here and say, there you go, see you on Wednesday?
Yeah, no, it has to be 7 days apparently.
Oh, is it 7?
This is a better, but
or maybe on Wednesday.
They could just change it 24 hours notice or whatever.
But to that point, I was thinking about this because I thought this makes for a way better urgent Dynamite weapons match or Texas Death or something, where like the Lance Archer model for Hangman Page as an example, but there's been millions of others on Dynamite. A better urgent fight on Dynamite where Hangman sells the neck throughout from the muscle buster, survives it, but he's dead on his ass, and that's not a bad, like MJF.
See you next week.
Yep, that's like, there he is. He's barely able to stand as he celebrates.
Does he have to be there to cash it in? Or can he?
Don't know the rules, but yeah, you've got a week. He's like, you can.
I want him to come out of like a.
He should be in the lair. You should challenge him from the lair.
No, but
no.
He should be in some sort of like
Lair of the Year. That was on the WhatCulture Wrestling Alternative Awards.
It was.
And MJF won.
Good stuff.
But like he should be in some sort of like thing. I don't know, thing for you, whether it's like a massage thing. There's water massage things we walk past in Vegas.
Oh,
one of those ones where he clearly means to keep getting the best out of his body. Just, I'm really no flies on me now. Meanwhile, it's like, oh God, I'll see you next week.
Nice contrast.
Samoa Joe heel turns are always really well performed.
Yeah.
I like this a lot. Like I didn't see it coming for one. I don't think anybody would have done. And I'm the same as Sidge. I kind of dread the Ops Riders, but we'll get what we get with them. He had the Death Riders put his head in the chair. Was it all in Texas?
Yeah.
I broke my neck for you, Hangman, and I'm going to break yours. It's not bad. Well performed, as long as it's one more, and I suppose it heals them for the Hurt Syndicate. So they are trying to move them into things logically, which are. Like, this is a better match with the Hurt Syndicate with them as heels.
Yeah.
But it's still, it's off the back of this match.
Yeah. They're doing it on Wednesday,
What, the trios
Aye.
title match? Good, yeah, good. Like,
something to look at.
It is something to look at. Hangman Page.
He's not here for the preview, so that'll be his thoughts.
Oh, yeah. Something to look at. It's funny, isn't it? Like Hangman Page.
He's having another day off.
Nice, working from home. He's got to go see my kid at school. I'll do it, don't we?
Yeah. Some of us then return to
Yeah,
work to do a
I've got half day
podcast.
in the week.
In
I
time,
switched
on time.
Switched around. I'll be here all day. Thursday afternoon, if you want to pre-record something, we can pre-record that at Discourse. It won't be on a Friday, it'll be on a Thursday, because we're on Thursday instead of Spain. Anyway, what I was going to say was, it continues to be funny to me that, like,
4 weeks in America.
of all people, you're damn right I did. Hangman Page
Make up for lost time.
is Bret Hart and CM Punk as a world champion. It's those two specifically.
Yeah.
It's just like him and Punk need to get on the phone to each other. Like, actually, Punk, you know what? I should have asked some more people for advice. An old guy, maybe. You. What?
How do I not follow in your footsteps? Phil?
Phil, are you there? Aye. Because the matches, like, this wasn't much, but, like, it's not indicative of his reigns.
No.
It's indicative of some crap booking where
Yeah.
he's fed the liars because you wanted a bit of acclaim on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yes, it's Joe.
It's
And
Joe.
we love this because
We love this on the Death Valley Driver message board.
Yeah, it's been our default setting since 2003 to love these things, and we will never change.
Yeah, enough. This is enough to make you say, I quit and turn off this show, isn't it? Which, unfortunately, some people did. You see that? I think Matt Reigns
technical
suffered
difficulties.
This. They couldn't watch the end of this show on Amazon Prime, I think it was.
Somewhere.
That's pure.
I don't know. I hope everything's worked out right, everyone. Shout out to Matt Reigns.
They'll get a free credit or something like that for like another pay-per-view, won't they?
Great. Thanks. But, you know, you heard me say I quit there, which is more than we can say for the main event of the evening, the I Quit match between Darby
I
Allin.
agree.
John
I agree
Moxley.
with that. You're being sardonic, your typical sardonic self when we covered the dub, but I 100% agree with that too.
This was horrible to watch, but in the...
St. Louis can't bleed.
Yeah. Weird choice to do it there.
What was that about?
Like the first thing that happened outside of the flag, screw your flag sort of thing. Mox putting Darby's mouth on the ropes and kicking it. That's the start, guys. Where are we going from here? Puts a chain around his fist, punches Allen with it, bleeds from the mouth. Guillotines Darby Allin on the middle rope, basically, destroying his ear. Sends him into the sharp part of the steps.
Keep talking.
And then he put Darby Allin's hand on the steps, and I was like, okay, here we go. Stamp on it. No. He gets those bamboo skewers out and sends one under the fingernail of Darby Allin.
Sidgwick's scary anecdote. I'm in year 10. I
Where's this going?
cut my toenail, big toe, too far. If anyone, everyone's probably cut their nail too far. It's the sharpest, most agonizing. I'd rather, anything. Like, that pain is so horrible. It became ingrown. Cover your eyes and ears if you don't want to hear this sort of thing. I was too scared to go through the pain of, getting it fixed because the initial cut was too much. That they basically said, you really should have came in sooner. What tipped me over the edge was I used to live with that pain and play football with it because I'm not getting that cut out. So if I can deal with this pain, I'd rather have this pain forever than the most pain at once. So I'd play football with it, and I've got such a wonderful left foot, even though I'm naturally right-footed, and it went to waste. That was a shame for my burgeoning football career, but whatever. And then I was sat in English. Stephen Tate, I'll never forgive you. Don't say it anywhere near as much as I should, but it wasn't your fault. Leaning on the chair like that, and went bang on my ingrown toenail. It's like, oh God, oh dear, it's worse now. I couldn't walk. My mum was like, get to the doctor. I had to get the entire toenail removed.
Yeah.
They put an injection through the toe to numb it, when you get
Yeah.
Didn't seem to work. I felt every second of a 10-minute procedure.
Excuse me.
So no one's gone through that experience and all the rest of it, but everyone's cut their toenail too deep.
Yeah.
when they did this spot, I was like, it's the most I've cringed at wrestling potentially my entire life. I was couldn't deal with it.
Yeah. Horrible.
Incredible idea though, because as I said, everyone's done that. Mm-hmm. Everyone's cut it too far, so everyone can feel it vicariously. An incredible idea for a spot.
It's a very common occurrence in like marathon, long distance, ultra marathon, and like I was like, I've got it when I was marathon training when I was younger, like the 26 miles, not so bad. And then, but you do feel like because it'll get like start with like a blister, and then it'll build around the toe, and then like I felt it come off on my second toe while running, and I could sort of like feel it in the sock like that. It's like just the 15 miles left or whatever it is. Yeah, you just like at some point like everything stops, but like for a little while it's like it's as if like there's an open wound and it's like I'm just gonna leave that. Can I just keep my crisp in your sock, please? Like it's moving.
So Darby Allin tried to hang Moxley with the AEW flag. Following this, I'm just moving on very quickly.
Should have been finished.
I didn't need a facial expression for facial expression. Callback, really.
I did at the 20-minute mark for the conclusion. I think it should have been the finish.
Yes, obviously there's an homage to All In Hangman Page, but he gouges Darby Allin's eyes. Darby Allin crawls back to his bag and sprays Mox with lighter fluid. This brings in Yuta and Garcia. They get sprayed too, but all this distraction allows Mox to hit a cutter. In comes Pac and Claudio. Brought a towel, thankfully, for John Moxley to wipe the lighter fluid off. Mox goes into the bag and pulls out a stun gun, taser, whatever you want to call it. Darby Allin stops him from using it, but Shafir low blows him, and he uses the taser, and then hits a paradigm shift on Darby Allin through a chair.
It looked sick.
Yeah, horrific bump that. There's two tables set up at ringside. Claudio's going to gorilla press Darby Allin through them, but then he thinks, wait a second, what did I see at NXT? Who with? And he sends Darby Allin from the ring through the commentary table, an homage to Obafemi and Javon Evans, of course.
Shut up, man. An unbelievable spot, this. I know I've seen it. But referencey.
Yeah.
The match.
This is murder chants from the crowd after Mox hits a paradigm shift from the apron through the tables, though. It's just cutting to people just doing this. The crowd, they can't believe what they're seeing. Still can't believe this is the sentence I'm going to read, and I mentioned this to you earlier. Well, dear, we had the fresh fruit business. We had the, what was it, like goo business or something. But I think our time has come to shut up shop in this fish shop. Bling. Hello, sir. Can I buy an aquarium? Because that's what the Death Riders bring in with some buckets. Just put his head in the bucket, surely. Same thing.
I'm spoiling my thoughts that I didn't care for any of this, but the AEW branded water buckets.
That was weird.
I was like, you're all cunts. I was just so out of it.
So yeah,
like, look, I like my branded nonsense, right?
Not here.
I've backed the Slim Jim table at points.
That's because he's biased.
Yeah. But like the Death Riders have brought with them the AEW sponsored water butts. Like, from Bryan Danielson's garden. Like, it just looked stupid.
So they took water in his face initially to wake him up, obviously, because he's unconscious and can't say I quit. And Mox is just losing his head, basically. Mox drowns Darby Allin, basically, but every time he pulls him out, Darby Allin refuses to quit. And then all of a sudden, the lights go out, and you hear, hoo, 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 and there's Sting in the ring. He looked awesome, to be fair. Got a baseball bat.
It seemed to already called him Santa.
I mean, genuinely, he looked like just that guy who's invincible. Doesn't matter how old he is, he's still a total badass.
This was it, potentially, wasn't it, as well? He's retiring the paint.
Aye.
So this is actually a lot as this Sting. He can be still like a big Steve.
Yeah.
Darby's
He's still going to be Sting. He just can't be asked to paint himself up for the convention.
Oh, okay, right, yeah. Fair enough as well.
Mox's eyes were great here. He gets choked by the bat, and Sting twats him. No, he leaves the bat after hitting with the Death Riders with it, with Darby Allin. Sting goes to leave, and Marina Shafir gets in his face. I was like, what's about to happen here? No, he carries Marina Shafir off. Mox is like, go on, hit me with a bat, put it on my head and stuff like that. He's like, all right, hits him with the bat, shots to the ribs.
Like the
and
kneecap
legs.
spot, that was good.
Yeah, and then he wraps the AW flag around Moxley's throat, hits the Scorpion Death Drop. There's a coffin drop in there, and WrestleDream, more like Wet Dream, as Mox is Scorpion Deathlocked in a puddle and quits, despite the fact that no one can hear him say it. Darby Allin celebrates post-match.
There's bubbles because of the water.
Directly pitched a shallow pool of water so that you couldn't actually... You know, Moxley likes to be hard, doesn't he, and stuff. Here's the thing about this match, right? For 75% of it, I was loving it, right? And I quite liked the ideas in the last 25%. I'm not necessarily sure they worked. Jon Moxley, individual performance was pretty outstanding. Carried a lot of this. I know Darby is this completely willing plaything that anyone looks like a giant in front of. But like Moxley's relish at hurting him, like the rhythm of it was fantastic. Like a proper great heat segment that just never threatened for me personally to get boring. The escalation of like how violent it got, how sort of densely packed the like moves he was doing, like that bit where I was like, the paradigm shift just followed something else. Like so I thought the way he intensified the pace of the onslaught, the way he dealt with it emotionally, where it's like, I'm loving this, to like, wait, you little motherfucker, to the point where it's like, I actually like you. I'm kind of doing this for your own good sort of thing. Like, I thought he was completely in control of the crowd. He really cultivated the idea that something bad, really bad, was going to happen to Darby Allin, who took again. Like, even the little thing where he just slammed him back first onto the steel steps. It's like you're going through kind of, if you like, the Darby's greatest hits this early. Like, how bad is it going to get? The AEW branded water bottles took me out of it. And I will say this is not the fault of AEW because it's really inhumane and not cool to use live animals. But when you've, like, even if you've got, like, a casual, like, law in your head of death matches, you see an aquarium and you think, oh my God, they're getting some piranhas or something. Yeah. Like, they're not, obviously, but you think, oh, it'd be cooler if you did. But they didn't. And obviously, understandably, why. I don't necessarily, like, if they had just had the piranha tank, which is a great visual so you can see Darby's face, right? Maybe do some close-ups or something. Just have buckets of water or bottles of water. It's like, well, they've got water. It's like, are they going to, you know, like, just... I don't know, do a sponsorship, just get a bottle of water. It's like, are they going to remove things face paint? Darby's face paint. What they do with bottles of water? Oh, they've got an aquarium. Milk it, slowly pour it in. It's like, oh, that lurching sense of, oh my God, they're going to drown him. I don't think they did a very good job of milking any of this. Kind of a stupid idea. Is he going to kill him? I mean, that's kind of stupid, really. It did get a little bit like, It's one of those where the more you think, oh, they should have milked more of that, then the counter-argument immediately presents itself in your mind as, oh, they should have nearly killed him. And then you just start thinking, oh, this is kind of stupid. But there was never any sense, and again, I understand why, but there was never any sense during this spot, which is unique in all the rest of it, where I'm thinking, he's been in there too long, get his head out of there, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. And again, I'm not suggesting pancakes, waffles, that they should have done this, but like, it never felt like he was about to get drowned. What a stupid criticism of a pro wrestling match. Like, they never had that uncomfortable, get his head out there, get his head out of there, get his head out of there now. I'm getting scared. I never felt that once. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Here's an idea, don't do it. The finish, I would describe it as this. I understand exactly what they were going for, and it makes kind of perfect sense. This is Jon Moxley. He's a bitch at his core. The coward. He's also quite hard on TV and likes being hard, which kind of undermines the thing they were going for. Like, he didn't quit after he bumped on Spike, but he quits after that. I understand it's this poetic, oh, the bullies and the nasty people, they've got no heart when, like, they're not standing behind people anymore. I get it. It's a character choice. But I don't think there was any way to make that a rewarding experience, a cathartic experience to watch, even though I got the point very much of what they were going for. It wasn't very high art. And here's something, right, that was, especially when Sting had just been there, which is not necessarily, this is meant to be the match that finally makes Darby, and I think he will get booked strongly from here on out. If Sting's in this match and he does the Scorpion Deathlock, because he's got such a mystique, I'm thinking, oh, that would put Moxley away. He has a magic power move. I think Darby's got one, which says possibly a lot about his mystique or lack thereof. I don't think it was a good idea, this finish at all. And in actuality, maybe the idea of the I Quit match between these two was almost too good to be true.
Yeah, I think that's fair, actually. And that's not, like, I would agree, and I'm not saying that in an attempt to wave away, like, elements of this. Like, the idea is sell something that seems...
Cool visual with Aloe Water.
Yeah, like, sell something that seems unmissable. And they did. They picked the wrong destination for it, as it turns out, as it transpires. Like, St. Louis, what you can and can't do. They've got, what is it? It's one of them...
State commissions.
Like, and there's all sorts of stuff they're not allowed to do.
Can't bleed. Can't go into the crowd.
So stupid.
Don't do a tornado
I
match.
didn't realise that.
Yeah.
Don't do a tornado match or an I Quit match. Or
So,
simply put, don't put an AEW pay-per-view there.
well,
Do a telly there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's A-dubs.
Take the Arch to Dynamite if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I was just so unimpressed with this. Because I was detached for just massive portions of it. Massive portions.
I felt way more scared of Dustin Rhodes' life in 2019 than I was for either of these.
Well, yeah. And what I did say to Sidge over the doors as we were passing, as I was going to my dinner and he was coming back from his, was in 2019, I was really critical of Moxley and Kenny Omega because I didn't really like seeing Kenny Omega dicking about in this, because it felt like dicking about compared to proper rules. I was being a bit dead man about it, right? But I was like, I want Kenny Omega immediately fighting for top stakes, and whatever this is just not for me. And like, Moxley's got this side of him, but I've also just seen 2019 Moxley who can go, so I'd like them both not dicking around in Plunder, right? Honestly, it's Hart and Austin at WrestleMania 13 compared to whatever this was for me. Like, I can watch that back, and I remember talking to you at the time and Sidge kind of selling me on it because of this and this and this and this. I was like, yeah, you know what? I didn't give that enough credit, but if I watched that back now, I would think it was 10 times the match this was. John Moxley, and this is not the first time he's done it, just, for me, gets so up his own arse with like what this character is, that bags over heads, attempted murder, that, as Sidge points out, cannot happen. The skewers and the fingers is gross, right?
More of that, please.
But I can actually tolerate that. As I can't physically tolerate it. It's awful to watch.
Yeah.
But it's like a way to make somebody submit, surrender. You know, in the confines of this match, like, I might not like it, but it's completely within the rules of the universe that's established here. Attempted murder. You know, this goes back to drinking bleach Death Riders, this does. The Aquarium. Like, at the point at which we introduced the fish tank, we're back to the old Death Riders. And it's like, he's guilty of this. And whenever he is, that's like a total, complete detachment.
Sting smashing it was cool. Sting smashing it was cool.
Sting smashing it was badass.
Yeah.
Everything Sting did was badass. They're just going to kill me for this. I thought this, right, as I was detached and had all the time in the world to think. Sting, impeccable presentation of Sting. Like, people don't like the comparison, but it is what WWE would do with The Undertaker, and rightfully so. Magic
No one
power.
here is cool.
God, no. But magic power guy, right? It's like, again, if somebody else at The Undertaker is endorsed, hits a tombstone, whatever. Undertaker hits a tombstone, you buy it. And that's the case with the Scorpion, the bat, whatever. Nobody can touch Sting. And long may that be preserved as well. But like, Sting, the guy coming out, like, enormous reaction, proper pro wrestling, all the right feelings, etc. And John Moxley monologuing about why he's got to do what he's got to do to Darby Allin in a way that his Shield mate Roman Reigns is often criticised for, using nostalgic legends. For me, the absolute standout highlight of all of this. And
Mox is actually good at monologues.
well, but I sometimes think Roman Reigns is. And that stuff is called slop, right? And I thought the violence here was slop, as opposed to when it was the closest to the pro wrestling I enjoy, which was John Moxley trying to tell a bit of a story with Darby Allin that played off the prison. What am I saying? But like, played off the prison conversation about like there is more between us that like is a bond than where we're at now. And that was what Moxley, once he's kind of like gone through all the attempts to you make him surrender and quit, that's when that returns to his brain. He's like, oh God, like I thought I'd have had you by now. This is less than ideal. It's like, I remember Roman doing all that stuff to Jay right in the pandemic days, and it's like, you should have been beaten by now. Like, this is what's happening to you now is your fault. Sorry, I'm a monster. I'm a monster, but you brought the monster out in me. That's a pro wrestling I actually quite enjoyed, and I would have had a bit more of it.
Gone long.
Sorry. Like, I would have had a bit more of it. I thought most of the violence was pretty naff. Pretty naff. The version of John Moxley I absolutely despise. Never want to watch. It actually undermines the stuff that Darby Allin is willing to do to himself for the cause when she sort of go down the route of the fish tank and some other bits in this match that I didn't particularly care for. The finish, I was sat there all cynical like and being like, well, Moxley's just got out of quitting, hasn't he? Like, which might not be the case. There might have been something that was more attempted to sort of be a bit more powerful, and it was maybe in the heads. Maybe they visualised something.
You should have screamed the words after
Alice.
Alice.
He should have screamed
He
the
had
words.
time. He was only in it for about 5 seconds. He was like, quit.
Scream the words. Show the ass like you did against Hangman Page. Sell of the year from him in that one. Do it again here for Darby Allin, because it didn't feel like the necessary sequel to that, did it? At all, really.
No.
It made me question Darby Allin's, like...
It's been a good few weeks for him.
He's going to win the world title, and as he should, by the way. Everyone has the best match with him. He's an AEW to the core. He's a perfect world champion. And then you watch him in certain main event situations, and you're like, is he a perfect world champion? Like, because I don't know if he's got the gravitas.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's got the proper head for it. Like,
him putting the Scorpion death lock on, I was like, oh, he hasn't got it.
Yeah.
He has not got this.
And this was the night where you're supposed to see it more than ever. So I would say, objectively, it was a failure. One more thing. I'm sorry we have gone so long. This Is Murder. It's kind of like an AEW equivalent of the go to Rose.
Oh, no, I hate it.
Because it's not murder, is it? If it's murder, it's stupid.
Yeah.
And you kind of, if you're participating in that, you're kind of doing the, we just here, we're all seeing a murder. And it's like, you're not really feeling this.
No.
You have just, this is the most violent, goriest thing in wrestling
Yeah.
history. And you're trivializing it along with the fish tank at this point.
Yeah.
Let's fly through the questions we've been sent throughout this podcast before we wrap up here. Richard C. says, my main issue, there were 4 matches back-to-back with a rope break near fall. They just felt very similar to each other. Is this poor agenting?
It is. And you know what? I'm sorry. I should have pointed that out. I should be across that. AEW has developed so many bad habits that add up to a malaise, I would say. So much so that I don't even notice them half the time.
Yeah,
it's a promotion in a way defined by excess. I probably spend too long focusing on the other excesses, if that makes any sense. But no, I agree with you completely. These things add up. We shouldn't be not noticing them.
Jeff Rainmaker says, hello, legends. Which earned the Boo Me a Mother award last night? Sarah Stock or Manda Huber? My vote is Manda for the more reasonable mothering. So this was Sarah talking about...
I am not entering this discourse whatsoever.
Could be.
Just,
Richard C. also says, have the ops turned so that...
I wouldn't let my 10-year-old watch this. Neither did Amanda Huber, so what's the problem?
Yeah.
Richard C. also says, have the ops turned so that the Hurt Syndicate can be faces?
I mean, it was happening already. I am actually intrigued in that match because it's like, I'll try and reserve most of my thoughts of the preview, but it's like, oh, who's losing here? Hurt Syndicate don't like it, and the ops have just turned. An intriguing match. And AEW needs way more of that.
Yeah.
OG Stem Cell. Shout out to you, of course. OG Stem Cell says...
I need to go. Pretty much.
Do you think if AEW pay-per-view started 2 hours earlier, would that help with the fatigue of watching the show? Earlier start, earlier finish, not as tired.
Yeah. I don't,
It's all about sequencing for me.
Totally, yeah. It's like the time of day.
The matches that don't necessarily have to happen.
Because All In Texas had the earlier start time.
Yeah.
It still ran very long and like relied completely on how strong those big matches were after X hours, whatever it was.
Da Boss.
I'm just going to... I won't do the outro. I need to leave in 4 minutes.
Okay. Da Boss.
Baby.
No, Da Boss. It was the beat after Beast. The Beast.
Mortos.
Says too long, too boring. TK should hand over the books to someone who knows how to book, maybe hire Road Dogg. Thanks for that.
Very good.
You're being silly.
Steve Nikolopoulos mentioned about Wrestle Cream in his pants. Could we see a story where everyone who helped Hangman Page win the title turns on him, Swerve, Darby, Ospreay, anyone but Cope?
Love it. It's a Cody Rhodes thing a little bit. When your top babyface is absolutely the top babyface, the idea is that there are unexpected pressures, heavy as the head that wears the crown and all that kind of thing. Really like that because it would lead to the last guy being Swerve Strickland, and does he turn or does he not? Like, I really like that.
I like that as well.
Steve also says, do you remember the SmackDown 2 load screens on the PS2 explaining Trish's to my parents was difficult? 1 second.
Oh my God.
What was your favourite load screen?
Eddie Guerrero had funny nipples on one of them. Just remember that. Don't know why.
Can't remember.
Don't know why. Just did.
Can I remember?
Were you a SmackDown game person?
Not really.
No Mercy?
Was this PS2 fair?
No, SmackDown was PS2 and PS1.
Maybe I went through. What year was that released?
99 was SmackDown, the first one.
I think in 99 I was on my N64 still.
So that would have been like... And
I like No Mercy and WCW Nitro Revenge was my favourite wrestling title ever.
The roster on WCW versus the World was like out the ace as well, wasn't it?
I remember, was Mortis on one of them? I love playing as him.
There's one of them where Raven makes it on the front cover, doesn't he?
I used to love Revenge. I can't remember anything about it, but I used to love playing it.
Kaz says, hey guys, everyone said Jey Uso had to be champ because of his overness and merch sales. Is the solution to AEW's ratings attendance slump TK bringing back Danhausen, belting him up? And
I don't think he wants to. I don't think Danhausen wants to whatsoever. He's if you follow him closely, you don't even have to have any inside intel. He's been very passive aggressive about the whole ordeal, and that's what it sounds like it is to him.
Ordeal.
It is.
Yeah.
Bassam says,
he doesn't need to either. He's making coin.
Bassam says, great job as always, guys. Who's next for Hangman?
And that's the eternal question, and it's the eternal answer is Samoa Joe too. Long term, I still turn Eddie Kingston heel. He's doing nothing. He's doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that's the best shout.
And Mark Lee Willis, final comment. Thank you, Mark. Sent it right at the beginning. Says, I sometimes look at talent using others' moves.
Good retention strategy, that. Get you to engage with us. Do a 2-hour podcast. And then do this at the end. Sorry.
I sometimes look at talent using others' moves not as an homage, but as a reverse backhanded compliment when it doesn't get them the win, implying that the other's move wasn't good enough. Thoughts?
There's different contexts, different needs. Roman did that really well.
Yeah.
It was the second Mania match.
Aye.
That was really good. You can use it as a pretty melodramatic, like,
Austin and Rock intended to introduce it as a complimentary feature,
it was kind of like, oh, you are good, dickhead. And
yeah.
I'm going to express that with the move. I do like Omega using it in the Dominion match. Other people's moves is, I need to atone for how much of a dickhead I've been. I need to like be pure at heart if I'm going to beat this guy. Ultimate babyface stuff. I love that. Hangman and Swerve using it to like slowly motion that. That was good for both of us, and we should let it be bygones. Here's my method of expressing, I will forgive you, and we need to move past this for our individual lives being better.
But also, they can kick each other's asses with it when they fight again. So it's like, well, I've got that as well, actually.
I do like it as a thing. I worry that in the wake of AJ and Cena, and then Kazarian was doing Bound for Glory, I would never have watched that in a million years. I did read about it. It's like it's going to just dominate everything and lose whatever magic it still has.
We'll leave it there. Thank you to everyone who's joined us. At M. Sidgwick, at Michael Hamflett, at Adam Wilbourn, at It's Adam Nicholas, at WhatCulture WWE. Thanks to everyone for joining us. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for all your donations. And thank you for sticking with us for nearly 2 hours. Do let us know your thoughts on WrestleDream. But for now, this has been our WrestleDream review. My thanks to Hamflett, Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us. And we will see you soon.